smiles. And Nicole. I love that right there.
The cracks in Nicole Kidman and Keith Urban's seemingly picture-perfect marriage have finally been exposed, as the actress took to Instagram Live to confront her husband. In an emotional video, Kidman laid bare the struggles of her relationship with Urban. But what triggered Kidman's public confrontation, and how will Urban respond to her accusations? Join us to find out.
Nicole Kidman has officially filed.
When the music faded. On September 29, 2025, the world was shocked by the announcement that Nicole Kidman and Keith Urban were splitting up. For nearly 20 years, they had been seen as the epitome of love in a town where relationships rarely lasted in the public eye. Their 19-year marriage, 2 lovely daughters, and constant public affection had created an illusion of perfection. However, away from the glamour of Hollywood, their relationship was starting to crumble. Few people anticipated the surprising disappointment that unfolded, a slow disintegration of something that was thought to be indestructible. The tale of their romance was often likened to a rare occurrence in a movie, with 2 famous actors from Australia crossing paths in a world full of disarray and rivalry. In order to comprehend the origins of their relationship, one must revisit that crucial night in January 2005, when destiny brought them together at a glamorous gathering in Los Angeles. The Jade USA Gala aimed to honor the achievements of Australian artists in Hollywood. In the midst of the joyous atmosphere, bright lights, and friendly interactions, Nicole and Keith crossed paths for the first time. While she was already a renowned celebrity with a worldwide fan base exuding elegance and grace, he was an up-and-coming singer in the country music scene, charming yet timid, and possessed a unique sense of modesty. As their gazes locked, there was a palpable spark between them, the start of what some predicted would be an enduring love story. Keith frequently confessed afterwards that he had felt anxious that evening, questioning his own worthiness of her interest. He carefully stored her phone number in his pocket and hesitated for days before gathering the courage to dial it. The delicate hesitancy and admiration he harbored for Nicole lingered throughout their relationship. Initially charming, it eventually transformed into a subtle insecurity that eroded their tranquility over time. Their relationship seemed like a fairy tale unfolding. After a difficult breakup with Tom Cruise, Nicole found comfort and sincerity in Keith. He appeared to be unique, stable, compassionate, and deeply attached to his Australian heritage. To her, he symbolized not only a romantic partner, but a fresh start. As a couple, they seemed invincible, a blend of elegance and resilience, sophistication and modesty.
And together, guys, right there, real close if you would. There you go. Nicole and Keith, right? There you go. That's wonderful. That's perfect. Nicole.
On the 25th of June, 2006, they made their promises to each other in a stunning event in Sydney. Everyone around the globe witnessed with awe as Nicole, in a beautiful Balenciaga dress, made her way towards the man she loved. 230 attendees, including family, friends, and Australian celebrities, were there to witness the special moment. Keith sang "Making Memories of Us" with a voice filled with love, and tears shone in Nicole's eyes. For some time, it seemed like a storybook romance. They created a family together split between Nashville and Sydney, nurturing their daughters and fostering a joyful atmosphere at home. They stood by each other during times of triumph and hardship, accompanying each other to ceremonies and global performances. To observers, they appeared to possess everything one could desire: affection, admiration, and the unique talent to remain humble amidst the chaos of stardom. Due to their busy jobs, they spent a lot of time apart. Nicole's acting projects required her to travel globally, while Keith's music tours kept him constantly on the move. The physical distance between them, though not visible in pictures, started to weaken the strong connection they had previously cherished. Keith's internal conflicts emerged again. The familiar doubts that previously caused him to delay contacting her were now affecting their marriage. Every imperfection, every moment of silence, every unspoken anxiety was amplified by fame. Nicole, always striving for perfection, attempts to maintain stability, But even the most resilient spirits can become exhausted when love begins to diminish. But what were the true reasons for the cracks in their marriage? Stay with us. When love began to break, everything appeared to be flawless. However, the idea of perfection was merely a mirage that started to fall apart shortly after their marriage. Only 4 months after Nicole Kidman and Keith Urban exchanged vows, Keith's long-standing battle with alcohol and drugs resurfaced. Nicole was distraught by this turn of events, but it ended up revealing the extent of her devotion. She demonstrated a rare strength fueled by genuine love. Choosing to stand by him in his darkest moments became a pivotal moment in their bond. Keith eventually discovered the strength to stay clean, and by 2025, he had managed to stay sober for close to 19 years. However, the initial challenge they faced cast a long-lasting influence. It sparked doubt about the foundation of their marriage. One spouse is always taking on the role of savior, while the other is constantly in need of saving. This unspoken disparity gradually expanded, making it more difficult to keep their love intact. Over time, the couple became parents to 2 daughters, Sunday Rose in 2008 and Faith Margaret in 2010. Their family flourished, giving the impression of being invincible to others. They were often seen together on the red carpet, exuding happiness and unity, which was admired by their fans. He stood behind her in her acting endeavors, while she cheered him on in his musical achievements. As a pair, they seemed like the perfect match. However, beneath the facade of a happy couple, there were underlying issues surfacing. Though their love was deep, their individual aspirations were just as strong. Nicole's busy acting schedule required her to travel to various countries, while Keith's frequent tours kept him away from home for extended periods. The qualities that initially united them, their ardor, skill, and determination, eventually led them down divergent paths. Nicole carefully selected her projects, favoring stories that resonated with her on a profound level. Acting was not simply a job for her, it was a form of self-expression and authenticity. However, this often required her to be away from home for extended periods of time. At the same time, Keith was experiencing great success in his music career.
But it's super compatible because we're both artists.
Yeah.
You know, we are different in different ways, of course.
Playing to packed venues and traveling extensively. As time passed, the distance between them slowly increased, like a gentle breeze wearing away at their once strong connection. New issues arose by the year 2024. Nicole's film selections started grabbing the public's interest. Her roles in movies like Baby Girl and A Family Affair featured daring and personal moments that received varied reactions, particularly from Keith. While Nicole saw them as essential to her artistic growth, insiders allege that Keith found it challenging to watch her in those types of roles. In a radio interview that July, when asked about her provocative scenes, Keith promptly hung up, an unusual display of his private unease. The atmosphere grew more strained. From an outside perspective, it appeared to be a minor argument. However, within their relationship, it represented an additional obstacle in their growing distance. The couple struggled with difficult dilemmas. Was Keith acting out of concern or just feeling inadequate? Was Nicole pursuing her dreams or neglecting what truly held value to them? In early 2025, the gap between them shifted from emotional to physical. Keith was embarking on his High and Alive global tour, entertaining audiences all over the United States, while Nicole delved into filming Practical Magic 2 in London. She secured a lavish mansion for $65,000 per month, as Keith discreetly invested in his own residence in Nashville. This division had a unique impact on those who were near to them, as it transcended beyond just professional matters and delved into the realm of personal space. It centered around a man who had definitively reached a breaking point. When the lights went out. In the summer of 2025, Nicole Kidman faced immense challenges, making it one of the toughest seasons in her life. It may have been the most agonizing period for her since her divorce from Tom Cruise almost 25 years prior. While Keith Urban traveled around America for his tour, entertaining enthusiastic crowds who were unaware of the troubles in his marriage, Nicole was left isolated in London, engulfed by solitude. The painful realization that sometimes even the strongest love is not enough to keep two individuals together. The separation was instigated by Keith, leaving Nicole feeling shocked and devastated. People close to them disclosed that he was no longer happy. And was compelled to address issues that had been overlooked. The confrontation allegedly took place in the presence of friends, adding to the emotional pain. Keith finally articulated the long-standing frustrations he had been harboring, while Nicole was left astonished, acknowledging that the marriage she had tried to defend was slowly slipping away. Their breakup was not caused by explosive scandals, but by a series of gradual disappointments that accumulated over time. The affection they once shared had faded due to the distance and fatigue that crept into their relationship. Keith spent most of his time touring while Nicole was constantly on set, leading to their lives taking divergent paths that rarely intersected. Friends observed that they were no longer functioning as a couple, but as individuals navigating distinct spheres of existence. The continual requirement to devote time to their jobs, their kids, and their relationship. Nicole had consistently grasped the concept that an excess of anything could disrupt the harmony. She had previously mentioned how she always strived to maintain a balance, juggling between her career and her family. Nevertheless, despite their genuine intentions, the demands of life often push individuals to extremes. Nicole was facing a challenging period in her professional journey. The characters she played in her recent projects demanded her full emotional and physical commitment, which garnered admiration but left her feeling exhausted. After the cameras were turned off, she had very little energy left for other things. Keith, proud of her achievements, frequently advised her to prioritize self-care. Initially comforting, his words now seemed like subtle alerts that she failed to grasp entirely. At the moment of the split, the significance of those words became evident. Keith's concern extended beyond her welfare to encompass the diminishing bond between them. Unfortunately, amidst the chaos of constant traveling, work commitments, and family obligations, his emotions were overshadowed. Nicole experienced another devastating incident when her cherished mother, Janelle, passed away on September 2024, intensifying her sorrow. The loss of her mother left Nicole feeling completely broken. The last words her mother spoke to her, urging her to prioritize self-care, likely resonated within her during the isolated months spent in London. This advice, while delivered with love, carried a bittersweet irony as Nicole now had to confront the imminent end of her marriage in order to truly care for herself. How can someone discover tranquility in the midst of what used to seem indestructible? How can one mourn the loss of a mother and a marriage simultaneously? People who were familiar with Nicole mentioned that she was facing challenges silently, attempting to continue with her job and maintain a facade of strength. At the same time, Keith kept going with his tour. While performing in front of the audience, he appeared cheerful and sang with enthusiasm, hiding the turmoil within him. Despite putting on a brave face, he had experienced a profound shift in his life due to a tough decision he had made. Those who knew him well revealed that his choice was not fueled by anger, but by a sense of resignation. He cared deeply for Nicole, but the burden of love had become too much to bear. What did the public say about their split? Let's find out. When forever fades. The final time they were seen together in public was on June 20th, 2025, at a FIFA Club World Cup game in Nashville. At first glance, Nicole Kidman and Keith Urban appeared loving, posing for photos and sharing sweet moments. However, observers noticed an underlying tension in their physical interactions, the absence of eye contact, uneasy behaviors, and a subtle emotional distance. It wasn't a quarrel, but rather a more subtle, melancholic scenario. Nicole shared a heartfelt black-and-white anniversary photo on June 25th, along with a brief message about love. However, Keith remained silent. He did not make a post or share a tribute that hinted at any desire to mark their 19 years of marriage.
And barely 4 months into our marriage, my addictions that I'd done really nothing about blew our marriage to smithereens, and I went into the Betty Ford Center.
This quiet absence spoke louder than words. In August, Nicole posted a series of summer memories photos featuring her daughters and loved ones, but Keith was conspicuously absent from the pictures. The lack of her presence could not be overlooked. Close acquaintances noticed the subtle indicators of her impending departure months in advance as small fissures expanded into a silent farewell. However, the most difficult aspect was not the physical separation, but the overwhelming solitude that ensued. Nicole found solace in the companionship of her daughters, Sunday Rose and Faith Margaret, who were now 17 and 14 years old, respectively. They formed an unbreakable bond during the endless summer days, cherishing their quiet moments together while Keith embarked on his global tour. Her daughters became her source of comfort, giving her the strength to remain steadfast amidst the changing landscape of her life. Antonia, her sister, played a crucial role in providing support during difficult times. While the Kidman family had always been tight-knit, the bond between them became vital for Nicole during a challenging period. Being with her family brought moments of tranquility and joy, whether through laughter, shared meals, leisurely walks, or quiet moments of understanding. Despite the love surrounding her, the pain from her failed marriage persisted, leaving a void that no one else could replace. Practical realities followed the emotional pain. The couple had a combined wealth of more than $325 million, which included 11 properties worth around $56 million, their Nashville mansion valued at $4 million, the Sydney penthouse at $16 million, and their shared homes in different countries were more than just assets. They were symbols of a life constructed together, each holding memories of family gatherings, joy, and music that now existed only in the past. People everywhere were curious if reconciliation was still a possibility. Those familiar with the pair held on to hope. They claimed that there was still love between them, a connection that had not been severed despite the lack of communication. Despite being together for close to 20 years, it seemed implausible that the deep bond they once had could disappear entirely. Hope is delicate at times. Despite Nicole's determination and belief in a possible reconciliation, Keith had already emotionally moved on. Observers around them saw it as an uneven separation, with one spouse still trying to salvage the relationship while the other had already come to terms with its demise. This imbalance is agonizing, with one heart stuck in limbo while the other has already found closure. In the lives of many individuals, a common tale unfolds. But when it occurs between two individuals who once appeared to possess everything, it takes on a particularly harsh quality. These two individuals had overcome numerous challenges such as addiction, distance, and fame, and for a long time they had surpassed every expectation of defeat. However, even the strongest love can become strained when life continuously pulls these two individuals in different directions. The aftermath. When news broke of Nicole Kidman and Keith Urban parting ways in a discreet manner, fans around the globe were filled with deep emotions. The information rapidly circulated, causing social media to be flooded with sadness and disbelief. The dissolution of one of Hollywood's favorite couples was met with disbelief by many. It seemed as though something innocent and promising had vanished. The public had observed their relationship evolve over the years, from their affectionate glances on the red carpet to the gentle smiles exchanged during interviews. Their love appeared invincible, akin to a fairy tale capable of enduring any challenge. However, in typical fashion, reality had a tendency to crush fantasies. The public's obsession with their romantic tale added to the intensity of the heartbreak at the conclusion. While some admirers were enraged, others felt profound sorrow, yet they all shared a common feeling of shock. Nicole and Keith had been seen as a symbol of hope for many, illustrating the idea that love can overcome all obstacles, including physical separation, celebrity status, and the passing of time.
We evaluate everything together and the decisions are made together.
The dissolution of their relationship served as a stark reminder that even the most enchanting narratives have the potential to silently unravel. Looking beyond the immediate response from the public, there was a deeper issue at play: the immense pressure placed on celebrity couples. Every action, word, and moment of absence is scrutinized to an extreme degree. Nicole and Keith faced this intense scrutiny for close to 20 years, juggling their successful careers and family commitments while striving to maintain their connection. However, at some point, this delicate balance started to falter. In contrast to the typical tumultuous Hollywood breakups, their split appeared surprisingly peaceful. There were no heated arguments, no hurtful remarks, no controversies. It was just two individuals who once shared a strong love but drifted apart. It resembled what Gwyneth Paltrow referred to as conscious uncoupling, except for one agonizing detail: it was not a mutual decision. Nicole was still holding on, whereas Keith had already detached himself emotionally. Her previous marriage to Tom Cruise abruptly ended over 20 years ago, leaving her heartbroken and cautious of love. Despite this, she took a chance with Keith, deciding to be vulnerable and hopeful for a better outcome. Now, as she confronts another unexpected conclusion, one can only guess at the hidden sorrow she hides beneath her composed demeanor. Yet, there is an indefatigable quality to her inner strength. Nicole has consistently drawn power from being open and exposed, and presently, she appears to embody elegance. The time spent with Keith was rich in affection, music, and kinship, instances that cannot be obliterated by a mere signature. While their relationship may have come to an end, the remnants of their past will linger in every tune, every reminiscence, and every individual who once had faith in them. But how has their career affected their relationship? When distance wins, Nicole Kidman and Keith Urban's marriage did not end abruptly with a big public argument.
A glimpse of the world's most famous bride arriving in an ivory roll.
Akin to ships diverging paths due to the winds of ambition and obligations, Keith embarked on his electrifying world tour, starting in May of 2025, which kept him separated for extended periods. As he traveled from city to city performing on stage, he was surrounded by dazzling lights and loud applause. At the same time, Nicole found herself in London, engrossed in the realm of film productions and screenplays. Despite residing in a lavish mansion, she felt a sense of emptiness in his absence. Throughout the following months, their lives seemed to run in parallel, closely connected emotionally but physically distant from each other. This wasn't the initial instance they had endured work-related separation, yet this instance had a distinctive feel to it. It was no longer just a brief separation. It had transformed into their routine. Years of prioritizing their careers and pledging to compensate for lost time had created invisible barriers between them. Both had achieved great success, yet that success had come at a subtle expense. Acting meant more to Nicole than just a job. It served as a means to comprehend life, to delve into emotions and narratives reflecting the depths of humanity. Nicole often expressed how storytelling allowed her to bridge the gap in a disconnected world. However, as her love for acting intensified, it started to distance her from the person closest to her heart. In the past few years, her selection of characters has caused tension. Movies such as Baby Girl and A Family Affair required a level of emotional depth and closeness that, although well executed, made Keith feel uneasy. The subtle pain of witnessing your significant other sharing intimate moments on screen that you wish belonged only to you. He found it challenging to distinguish her artistic work from their shared life.
I thought she was way out of my league. Not in a million years did I think somebody like that would be interested in me, at all.
Difficult dilemmas were brought up by the circumstances. Is it necessary for an artist to constrain their creativity to make their partner comfortable? Or is love about having faith that art does not equate to disloyalty? There were no simple solutions available. The previously easy love had transformed into a precarious juggling act of maintaining both freedom and closeness. Keith carried on with his tour, with a performance planned for October in Pennsylvania, while Nicole stayed in London busy filming and working. Despite no divorce papers being filed, there was a small glimmer of hope that remained. However, hope can diminish when the distance between them increases. But what does this mean to the future? Stay with us. When love isn't enough. Some love stories seem like they will never come to an end. Two individuals connected by love, trust, and a long history of shared hopes. Nicole Kidman and Keith Urban's relationship was a perfect example of such a story. In the eyes of the public, they possessed everything: love, achievement, a family, and recognition. However, beneath the surface, their connection began to weaken. The key takeaway from their narrative is that despite having deep, loyal, and genuine love, it may not always be enough to sustain a relationship. As individuals evolve and pursue their own paths in terms of professional growth, personal development, and emotional well-being, the once strong bond of love may start showing signs of strain. In the case of Nicole and Keith, their marriage did not end abruptly due to infidelity or hostility, but rather diminished quietly as they grew into. The separation of the couple sparked a strong response from people all over the world. Fans were devastated, perplexed, and even enraged by the news. Their relationship was seen as a symbol of enduring love that could withstand any challenges. The announcement didn't just signify the end of a famous couple, but also shattered the illusion of a fairy tale that many held onto. Their romance had inspired hope in numerous individuals, and its conclusion served as a sobering realization that not all love stories have a happy ending. Nicole's broken heart from her current situation is reminiscent of a previous one she experienced during her first marriage to Tom Cruise back in the early 2000s. The end of that marriage caught her off guard and left her feeling shattered. However, it was this difficult experience that ultimately led to her delivering an award-winning performance in The Hours and finding a profound and rejuvenating love with Keith. Now, as she comes to terms with another chapter closing in her life, she is faced with the question of what she will learn from this pain. Will it ignite her creativity once again, as it did before? Throughout everything that has happened, Nicole has dedicated a significant portion of her life to looking after others, her kids, her spouse, her relatives, and the various personas she embodies on screen. It's possible that now, she will prioritize her own well-being for once. This experience of heartbreak might motivate her to seek inner peace, not through her acting roles or personal connections, but through relaxation and contemplation.
My wife, Nicole Mary, is here tonight. I love you, baby girl.
Their split is different from the dramatic Hollywood breakups we often hear about. Instead of fighting in court or making accusations in public, they are handling their separation peacefully and respectfully, which some might refer to as a conscious uncoupling. It appears they have opted for compassion over confrontation, particularly for the well-being of their two teenage daughters, Sunday Rose and Faith Margaret, who rely on both parents during this challenging time. The way Nicole and Keith navigate through this transition will influence their daughters' perceptions of love, forgiveness, and resilience. Their daughters are at a pivotal age where they will absorb and retain every detail, the quiet moments at home, the tender words spoken, the efforts to maintain a smile despite the hardships. These instances will serve as valuable lessons on how love can still be present even when it is coming to an end. Nicole's career is thriving, with projects like The Perfect Couple and the upcoming Practical Magic 2 showcasing her talent and keeping her at the top of the acting world, even as she reaches 58. Her accomplishments serve as evidence that a woman's value is not tied to heartbreak. However, some may question if her relentless pursuit of perfection has taken away from the time she could have spent on her marriage. Keith has always used music as a tool to navigate his emotions. With his previous album focusing on his recovery and strength, one can only anticipate what kind of songs will result from his current experience of loss and rediscovery while on tour. Although his performances may appear lively on stage, the emotions conveyed will likely have a deeper and more authentic message. Divorce papers have not been submitted, which means there is a chance for reconciliation. However, it is challenging to reconnect emotionally once the doors have been shut. Keith appears to have come to terms with the separation and is carving out a new path for himself. Meanwhile, Nicole is still holding on, torn between optimism and sadness. This asymmetry, with one partner moving on while the other remains attached, may be the most subtle form of anguish. What do you think about their split? Let us know in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, like, share, and subscribe to this channel for more celebrity gist. Before you go, watch the other videos on your screen.